From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One ball, corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
And Corey Clark.
What's up, y'all? Let's go, Corey. Let's do a show. Let's do a live show. What's up, everybody? It's Wake Up Warchant. That is Corey S. Clark, lead writer for Warchant.com, the ultimate Seminole sports source. Download our app. Go to the App Store. Go to the Play Store. Download the app. It's totally free. So is hitting the thumbs up. We certainly would appreciate that. That's showing that you like this video. You can wait maybe if you want. But is there any doubt? We're going to bring the heat. Corey's here. Live show. Preseason camp starts on Wednesday. Hopefully you're listening to this on your way into work. If not, just watching us live here. We got plenty to talk about. As always, we are brought to you by our good friends at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. But since we are live, we need a little extra in the gas tank. And for that, we go to DeLunaCoffee.com, explore their world of coffee. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 to take advantage of a 15% discount over at DeLunaCoffee.com. Check this out, Corey. I had my refrigerator was getting repaired, and the repair guy was like, "Oh, what are these two bags?" And I've got the DeLuna hot cocoa on my kitchen island because it looks really nice. I mean, look how nice these all look.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's like, "Hey man," he's like, "My wife loves some hot chocolate." I'm like, "Hey man, go ahead and have one." He's like, "For real?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Awesome, man, awesome." I'm like, "Yeah," and use the promo code WARCHANT15 if you want to order more. You'll save 15%. Man, he flips open his clipboard, whatever. Pulls out a Post-it note. What's it again? Writes down WARCHANT15 in earnest, and then puts it back in his clipboard, shuts it, and I'm like, all right. So Ed, if you're out there, if
you're welcome, welcome, Ed.
If anybody in the Valdosta area, which I think he's from, orders it, you're welcome. So there we go. DeLunaCoffee.com. Check them out, as well as Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. That QR code. Pull out your phone camera app, hit it, go right to the website. Check out the specials. You can place your order online. Bingo tonight, Corey? Are you going to bingo or is trivia? Trivia Tuesdays, right?
It's trivia tonight. Yeah, it's trivia tonight, Tuesday night, and then bingo's on Thursday. And I don't think they have live music this weekend, but next weekend they will have live music.
Okay, right on. All right, well, I mean, there's a lot of people that are excited. Gator Kirk's excited. Our guy, Kyle and Charlotte, which, by the way, apologies, man, I didn't get back to you. You wanted to hang out, have a beer with us. I didn't even get to hang out with Dallin Cuff, who's my friend. We were busy, man. We were really busy, so hope you enjoyed all the great coverage that we had from Charlotte for ACC Kickoff. Maybe next year, Corey, maybe we'll make your triumphant return after a 2-year, really 3-year if you count COVID.
And if we're lucky, maybe we won't be at the ACC Kickoffs next year.
I like what we're thinking. I like that.
Just kidding, ACC. You know I love you guys.
All right, man. Let's see here. 30-day countdown has begun. Our guy Ralph will be touching down in Tallahassee on the 25th. So that's awesome. We'll be able to see you and hang out with you for a day or so before we get to that.
Oh, he's getting in on Thursday. Old Ralph's getting in on a Thursday.
Look at that. All right, Garrett Kirk asked, did Tokars give a media interview today? Welcome back, Corey. Go Noles. I think he did, right?
Yeah, he was there. I don't know who from us got him. I was writing. We had enough other people there that I think we got him. I think Tom might have gotten him. I don't know who. But yeah, he was giving interviews. Literally everyone on the staff, other than nutritionist.
Yeah,
I think Storms is even. Too. I think. Is Storms not there?
No.
So every football coach, every recruiting coordinator guy, quality control guy, they're all up there to be got.
All right, then let's get to it. We spoke to those coaches individually. We kind of broke off the different outlets that were there. I like to almost call it like a media day, if you will, because they call it a luncheon, but it's super cool. There's all these random tables, and they give us lunch. Which Corey and I stayed away from because we're watching our figures. We're trying to get into games.
No, that's not true. I ate.
Oh, did you? All right. I
did not. Yeah. Okay. It was my first test of the new insides.
Okay. All right.
Because it was pasta with some sausage and cream sauce.
Okay.
So far, it's okay, Aslan. So far, I'm doing all right with it. We'll see.
All right. Well, your boy couldn't have that because of the sauce then or whatever. But I've never had Couches, and I didn't want to try it from a buffet line. I want to give them the real sort of a test or whatever. So, yeah, all the coaches were there. We kind of sat down. We were able to speak to them without cameras in their face, and they were really cool and candid. Maybe we'll share some of those stories. But then to start it all off, Mike Norvell was at the podium. 33 minutes. The entire thing is up on our Warchant TV YouTube page. Lots to probably unpack from a 33-minute press conference, Corey. But what stood out to you since you were the one that was live transcribing everything he said and then turning the story really quickly for the website?
Well, I guess it's all macro, really. The 2 points I was going to bring up. Number one, and we'll get back to it, is the culture, the family, the stuff that he talked about that I know makes some people roll their eyes. We talked about it on headlines, though. It is important. It's not as important as talent because talent trumps everything. But it's such a really important foundation piece. And I do think that's there. So there's that. And then there's just the actual specifics about this season is he seems really pleased with the depth all across the board, right? Don't you think? Like he mentioned a few times, they were one of the youngest teams in the country each of the last 2 seasons. Well, all those people are back. Plus what he's done in the portal. So he just feels like, and I've talked about this ad nauseum for 2 and 3 years, the competition in practices is going to be so much better than it's been that he seems genuinely excited about where this program is, the roster that he's got. Again, I don't think he's delusional. I don't think he thinks they're a top 5 team, but he said point blank, we are a better team than we were last year. And, then he pointed out that last year they were in every game in the final 5 minutes but one, and that was the game against Wake where they had 6 turnovers. So they showed that kind of sign. They showed those kind of signs last year. They were close to a 6, 7, 8 win team last year, and he thinks they're better this year. So now it's just about going out and proving it.
All right. Well said. Yeah. I did like that. Shout out to the kid from the radio station. I think his name was Jackson. Way to go. I like students going out there asking questions in the middle of a press conference. Takes moxie. He was the one that asked him, give me the one word and describe the team, and Norvell said family. I did like him talking about the fact that, the foundation has now been laid. Like, so everything is now kind of in place. Not in place to win a championship by any stretch, but, to compete and actually win every game that you're on the field against your opponent with. But, I guess they kind of were in that same predicament or position last year. But I guess you're just hoping that with a little bit more consistency, which is what he harped on, better leadership and better depth, that's what's going to be the determining factor into making some of those close losses victories. So
yeah, and I don't think in his mind it's hope. I think he expects it. I think he expects them to win more than they lose. Finally, wouldn't that be a great change of pace around here? Because yeah, man, you think about, look, they won some close games too, but that Clemson game could have gone either way. If Jordan Travis, iron does sharpen iron. We all know that. If Jordan Travis stays in the game against Florida, they win that game. You know what I mean? Like if Jordan Travis plays against NC State, they might win that game. Like there are reasons to think that if Jordan Travis is healthy, even again, I've made this point, even if he doesn't take a significant step at all, if he's just the same guy, but he's on the field, that it's an 8-win team. And I think Mike Norvell thinks that. I think the pieces are in place now. He thinks they're good they've improved at every position. And we talked to Adam Fuller. He knows they're not going to be as good at defensive end because how could they be with Jermaine Johnson and Keir Thomas? But he certainly didn't seem petrified of what they have, did he, Aslan?
No, he likes Keir. He liked Keir Thomas a lot, man, huh? He was like you. You guys are
he did, but then he also said that Dennis Briggs is the same type of player. Like he when I asked him about Dennis Briggs, he's like, oh yeah, he's going to play. Like you haven't seen anything close to what this kid is going to be. He compared him to Keir Thomas, except he's a little quicker, is what he said. So if he can have Keir Thomas production, and that's a big if because Keir was really good, but if he can be that type of player and Burse can just be what we think he'll be, which is a good pass rusher that has to learn on the fly, man, maybe they're not as awful at defensive end as not awful. They're not going to take a leap back. Maybe it's just a step back. And if they only take a step back at defensive end, they got a chance.
We got a chance of having a really good time. Because of guys like that.
Joel Davis again.
Oh, come on.
Dollar bills, y'all.
What?
What up, Joel Davis? What up, Bookie?
Old JD in the house.
Oh, yes. This all can be used for Corey's medical fund. We're not going to do an Indiegogo or a GoFundMe. We're just going to throw the super chats to our guy. Joel, good to hear from you, man. Thank you for that. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
That's the second time he's done it today, Aslan. He hooked us up on the headline show too. Although Jeff made a point that it doesn't matter who he earmarks it to. It's getting split up 3 ways. But still, that's very, very nice. That's very, very nice of you, Joel. To answer Nole fans' question, I've lost somewhere in the neighborhood of 23 to 25 pounds. From what I think was my heaviest was right around the and I've got a little of this going too.
Where's the permit? Where's the permit?
I'm trying to get in the best shape of my life. I feel like I was right there. Literally, I think I was right there in the best shape of my life, and then I got my gallbladder taken out. So I got to take it easy for a little bit. And also, if you're looking, this goes back to Joel's post. Not that, Joel, that's very, very kind. You don't have to do that. If you see something on my nose, and I don't know how obvious it is, I got another spot chopped off yesterday. They're going to test it to see what was going on. If you don't remember, and again, we're all friends here. You guys are in this with me. I had some skin cancer removed right here at the top of the bridge of my nose, and now it's kind of at the tip of my nose, which was a lot more painful. I'll be honest with you, Aslan. So hopefully I get good news on that in a week or so. But if not, they'll probably have to go out there and dig some more.
Yeah. Promise you, it's not
getting old, baby. Getting old.
No, yeah, it's his age. It's not his diet of corner pocket and DeLuna coffee that's causing all this. That's what's keeping
Absolutely
him alive.
not. They're keeping me alive. Absolutely right. Both of them.
Keeping it with Adam Fuller, I did like how he was talking kind of about, the numbers that he's going to have at defensive end. There's he wants to have 4 guys. He thinks, that Briggs is obviously going to be one of those dudes, probably like the number 2 guy. I think you're thinking versus Briggs or your Jermaine.
I think the way he talked, and again, we don't know anything, and he didn't tell us anything. This is just us trying to, read between the lines. It sounds to me like he thinks Briggs will be the guy at the other side, beside opposite of Verse. Yeah. And then also McClendon, who he said was made real strides in the spring. That wasn't just that wasn't just smoke and mirrors. He really did take a big step. And then who else did he mention? Leonard Warner, he thinks will play
because I asked him about that. He didn't volunteer that. I was
he didn't.
But he'll be in the top. He'll be in that 4-man kind of rotation that they're hoping to have there.
But I also think Patrick Payton is a guy. If you're talking about the new guys, the guys that came in 2020, the class of 2021, it sounded like Patrick Payton is the closest to getting on the field, and that he probably will be a part of the rotation. And so I don't think you're going to see. I mean, last year Jermaine didn't come off the field. I don't think you're going to see more of a rotation this year because, look, let's be honest. Jermaine Johnson, as tired as possible, was still by far your best defensive end. Even if he was working with a 40% gas tank because he had played 70 snaps, he was still your best defensive end. I don't know that Jared Verse on snap 71 is better than Patrick Payton on snap 11. So that's where they'll have to figure out how to divide these reps and these snaps as they move through the season.
Look at that. Jermaine, 736 snaps last year. Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's third most on the team behind Jamie and Brownlee.
Yeah. Man,
I mean, Brownlee played a ton.
No wonder Khalil was always sticking up for him, man. He's like, man, he plays every snap. And he quite literally played every snap. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so we feel pretty good about the defense. I think we can say that. Austin Flowers asked, did you guys get a better sense of Winston Wright after talking with the staff? I think we broke it out, but I think Ron Dugan's got a little bit emotional talking to Ira about it. I haven't had a chance to go back and listen to it, but maybe
he did, just talking about his recovery and the fact that, that was a scary accident, man. They weren't sure when you see when you get the preliminary pictures and indicators, and then, the first reports, I mean, they weren't sure what his life was going to be like, how healthy he would be just in life. And now here we are, whatever we are, 5 months later, and he's rehabbed to the point, 4 months later, I guess, where he's rehabbed to the point where, I think they feel confident that he's going to play. I don't think they feel confident he'll play, certainly not in the opener. I would be surprised if he's playing by week 2, but maybe the final 8 games of the season, Winston Wright's going to be part of the plan, which is huge, man. He was the guy. He was the bigger deal than Micah Pittman coming in. So you just get I don't think Dawsey would get that choked up if Winston Wright was just going to redshirt. You know what I mean? I think he thinks that kid has worked himself in a position to try to help this team.
I do see a lot of your comments. I don't see all of them. I'll pop it on the screen real quick, Tom, because Tom's posted it twice. He wants to get me in trouble. He wants me to host a show with a different FSU cheerleader and show stretches. So, Tom, come on, man. Just
male cheerleaders, maybe, because you want to work on. You got to get bulked up, man. Those guys are ridiculously strong.
Timmy, what coach except for Norvell, which that eliminates the odds on favor, because man, he gets impassioned on that podium.
He does.
when the lights hit him on that podium, he feels something, man. He really goes into it. Which coach besides Norvell gives you guys the most pump up for this season? I like Alex Atkins, man. Alex Atkins just carries himself with a confidence, a swagger, bravado. He knows he's good at his job, and I feel like he's confident that it's going to show on the field. So I like talking to him. And I really like talking to Adam Fuller too, man. Adam Fuller's, I know he's your guy, but I'm trying to elbow into that bromance a little bit.
I was thinking about Atkins today, man, when I was watching him talk with the media. Man, if say this offense averages 35 a game and goes from, whatever they were, 80th in the country to 45th, and they win 8 or 9 games, people are coming for him to be a head coach. And man, you think about him, and I'm not kicking Norvell out the door by any stretch. And Atkins has to prove it as an OC. You just have to. You don't typically go from O-line to head coach. It just doesn't happen. You've got to put in some work as an OC. But if he does, and you think about just the way he is, his stature, the air he has about himself, as good as he is at his job, and you extrapolate that to what he might be as a head coach, it's like, man, Florida State could do worse than Alex Atkins as a head coach if he proves it on the OC side first. Because man, that guy has every kind of intangible you would want as a head coach. I don't think he doesn't get excitable like Norvell, right?
No,
but his words resonate. I just have a feeling his words really resonate with those players.
Yeah. Hey, check this out. Our guy from Naples is here. What's up, Mark? Mark wants to take over New Orleans like it's our job, he said earlier. So, I mean, it kind of is, I think, right, Corey? Like, we have to go down there and be like, this is where it's at. This is where Warchant's playing the flag. This is where you have to be if you're in New Orleans. So we'll try.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark. By the way, I don't know if I said thank you, Joel, but thank you, Joel, for that. And thank you, Mark, for your generous.
Not that you're getting any of that. That's going for I'm trying to get my gallbladder back on the black market, and I need all the money I can get. I haven't found it yet, but I know it's out there.
Is there a season you've been more excited to cover in recent years? Well, since I've been here, I mean,
18, I was excited until halftime of the first game.
Yeah, I thought Willie was going to work out.
I did too.
I don't know if he's going to win a title, but I'm like, we'll be all right. And we weren't.
Well, because you thought that 17 team, if they had Francois, would have won 10 games. Yeah. And now they're bringing in a whole new staff that's going to speed up the offense and really let these athletes shine. Akers is coming back, and nope, didn't work out.
Yeah. All right. Band is back together. That's correct. All right. What coin flip game can you see us going out and just pummeling someone? We need a signature win, like a beatdown. It's allowed. Pulling that from the book of Clark.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's pummeling. Like Ira was talking about on the way to ACC Kickoff about like how awesome it would be. He's like, if Florida State could just, and I thought he was going to say, like beat the brakes off LSU. And he did say something like to that effect. And he's like, if they could just like beat LSU by like, and I'm like, yeah, like 28, like by 4 touchdowns. He's like, by like 13 points. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. I don't know if that would be pummeling in Mark's case. That's the game, probably just because it's so early in the season. And gosh, it would just be good to kind of get some quick instant returns. But that's probably the 50-50. I don't know, man. That's a 50-50 game. I mean, Louisville's a 50-50. There's so many of these are 50-50, but pummeling them, is Boston College, does that count, Corey? Or are we like 64?
I mean, I think that's more of a 60-40, but that's still within the margin of error for a coin flip, I think. I mean, literally every game on the schedule besides Duquesne is losable. I mean, this program hasn't proven enough to think that, as excited as we might be about the strides they've made, that they can't lose to anybody on this schedule. So, yeah, when was the last time they just dominated an ACC team? Like, just went out and won handily.
Well, Willie's season when they beat NC State here, right?
Right? When Bailey Hoffman played, right?
Yeah.
That seems like that's it. That's like one in the last 4 years. So just like even the North Carolina game last year, I think you got up by 3 touchdowns, but you never felt completely confident until you finally got that stop in the final few minutes, and North Carolina didn't go fast for some reason. Yeah. But yeah, man, any of them. I can't foresee them pummeling anyone. I'm not saying it wouldn't happen. There's nobody that comes to mind that is susceptible to that. But man, wouldn't that be nice? Just to change of pace, to be writing a game story in the fourth quarter for you guys to kind of tune in and out, or just say, hey, we'll get to see our backups play today. Let's see how good Rodemaker is now that we got a 5-touchdown lead. Just things that used to happen around here and still happen all over the country. That would be really, really good to see.
Thanks again to Mark.
Let's go! Come on! Corey, let's go! Let go, Cup! Let go, Cup! What?
500. Come on. It's 500, everybody. I'm sorry.
But not quite.
Sorry.
Come on, Shane. Get it together, Aslan. Get it together. Shane, you know you're the best, buddy. Quit apologizing. You leave us all this money and then always apologize. It's good, man. It's good.
Corey back at it like a champ, says Shane Kirkley, who puts $4.99.99 in the Corey Clark reunited gallbladder journey.
Now read the whole thing right there.
Sorry, I'm still working and preparing to leave Thursday for the 2-year dating anniversary trip to Vegas. Never know what might happen. All right, so we're going to the chat. We're going to like the little white chapel or whatever in Vegas.
I was going to say, I hope Michelle doesn't watch that. There's no way Michelle watches this, and he needs to make sure she doesn't if something's going to go down out there. You never know, though. Shane literally can be talking about anything. It is Vegas. People celebrate anniversaries in a myriad of ways. So, but yeah, that would be something, man. Well, whatever happens, good luck. Vegas is awesome. I wish I could go there, but I don't fly anymore.
We're going to keep that on the screen. Shane, you're the best, dude. I got one more time air horn. Everybody brace yourselves.
Hey, by the way, I think we're going to dinner with Shane and Michelle, the aforementioned Michelle, in New Orleans on one of those nights. Maybe Friday night. Okay. You're not welcome to join us, but you can walk to the restaurant with us, Aslan, if you want, and meet up with us afterwards.
Sounds good.
How about that? You going to be there? You going to do that when you get into town?
I don't know yet, man. I did want to get my own hotel for maybe 2 nights before getting into the Warchant Lodge, but man, it's expensive out there.
Yeah. Take advantage of the free bed, buddy.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll treat myself. Maybe it'll be a late birthday gift to myself, and I'll just get a room at the La Meridian 2 nights. Just
there you go. Nice.
Yeah, I don't know,
Shane, thank you very much, man. That's way, way too kind, man. Thank you, all of you guys. You're too nice.
All right. I didn't ask Adam Fuller about this, but he did talk about moving guys position-wise. Justin Hood asked, what happens with Travis Jay? He's buried on the depth chart. Can you articulate the point that Coach Fuller was trying to make about the sort of math he has to do in his head about moving a guy from one position to the next and about buy-in or investment?
Yeah. So he was talking about moving somebody like Amari to defensive end. And does that make the football team better? Because Amari doesn't practice at defensive end, has not practiced at defensive end. So are you taking away one of your better linebackers for an average defensive end that's not going to make you better? Because if you are, it doesn't make sense to do it. He talked about, yes, Amari might be a guy that can rush the passer, and I think they will use him there some, but it will be sporadically probably because he hasn't practiced there. And it's not his natural position. It's not the position he came here to play. It's not the position he has played. So how invested is he going to be in getting better at it? And how invested are the coaches going to be in playing him at defensive end if he's not the best option? Because you're trying to win football games and sack quarterbacks, not get Amari Gaynor reps at different positions. And he used also talking about Kevin Noles, because we talked about the other cornerback, the other corner opposite of Duke Cooper. And I'm like, do you think about maybe moving Noles out to the other side? And, again, to paraphrase, why do that when that could make us worse at 2 different spots? He's already your best nickel corner. And it's not like nickel corners don't play. He goes, we were in our base 4-3 defense for 50-something snaps the whole season. Kevin Noles played a ton. He said he even started the first game. So I don't know, where is Kevin Noles there? Yeah, he played 560 snaps. So again, he was one of I think other than Jamie Robinson and Brownlee, he played more than anybody on the team in the defensive backfield. So it was that kind of thing. Yes, Jamie Robinson can play linebacker and they can move him down in the box, maybe some on passing downs. but then that weakens you at safety. And he's not as invested much at linebacker, and you're not as invested much at him. I don't know if what I said made sense, but I think that was the overarching point is don't move a guy just to move a guy. He's got to be bought in and want to do it, and he's got to be better at that spot than what you already have.
Yeah, I guess maybe that probably doesn't apply to Travis Jay because he just hasn't gotten on the field. So, Justin, I mean, he is buried on the depth chart. Maybe we'll see what's going on tomorrow, Wednesday, as you guys listen to this on your podcast. We'll maybe see Travis Jay, where he's at, who he's running with, and maybe it'll be worth a question to Norvell.
And I'm not giving up on the kid by any means, but I'm surprised he's still here. You know, I am. I don't – there doesn't seem to be a path for him to play a lot in the current incarnation of the Florida State defense. So, and he's such a talented athlete that I thought he might have wanted to see if he has a chance to play somewhere else.
Garrett asks, who ends up the leading rusher and how many yards?
I say Trayshawn with about 770.
Oh, okay. I don't know, like up 8 1/4, 825, but yeah, I would say Trayshawn. I think Trayshawn ends up leading them. Kyle asks, what's a better sign for FSU football? 1 1,500-yard rusher or a stable of 4 to 5 rushers that combine for 2,500 yards? Ooh.
Well, I mean, 2,500 is more than 1,000 more than 1,500. So just by the sheer math of it, you would like 1,000 more yards rushing. Now, I know even with a 1,500-yard rusher, you're going to have other guys running. Man, those let me put it this way.
I'll take a yard back.
This is how I'll answer the question. Florida State has had one running back ever sniff that number. But let's throw Warrick Dunn in there too, because he would have if he got more carries. The only 2 running backs that have sniffed that number really in Florida State history is Warrick Dunn and Dalvin Cook. So let me ask you, would you rather have this combination of running backs or Dalvin Cook? Because I think the answer is Dalvin Cook, because you have to be a special dude to get 1,500 yards in modern day college football. I think, especially in this, I just think you do. So yeah, I guess, even though I made the joke about 1,000 more yards with the 4 to 5 guys, you would love to have a dominant, all ACC, all American running back, because watching Dalvin Cook was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'll take the 1,500 yarder. I'll take that guy. Yeah. Jared Armstrong asks, I didn't get a chance to watch any of the videos of the luncheon. Why, Jared? They're all there.
They're all over the place, Jared. They are all over the place. They're on this very channel.
Yeah. He did not mention he didn't mention Jackson West or Brian Courtney or Cam McDonald. I mean, he mentioned Jarrell Powers again, who he mentioned at ACC Kickoff last week about just, for him being 240, 50 pounds, wherever he's at, and the way he moves is just kind of different.
Yeah, but that was just in context of the freshman that just arrived. And, no, he was not asked about the tight end. Norvell didn't anyway. He was asked about the tight end and he was not asked and did not offer any names. Cam McDonald will be the starter. I'm really interested in who the number 2 guy is. Now, last year it was surefire Jordan Wilson, and he gave you something. He wasn't a great target, but he gave you some physicality on the edge. It seems like all the other guys are kind of the same, a lot of the same skill set. So I wonder who will stand out to be the number 2 guy behind Cam McDonald.
Absolutely. T. Giddings in the house. T. Giddings, you're not too far away, man. Always got the shirt. Always got the shirt close on by.
I wear that shirt a good bit. It's a great shirt.
Yeah, it's a fantastic shirt. It's
a good workout shirt.
Thank
you very much, Thomas. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks for the 20 in the jar. Glad you're feeling better, Corey. Thank you guys for helping this offseason pass by so fast. Well, thank you, man. Thanks for throwing the donation.
We'll see. The jury's still out on that lunch. I mean, we're 6 hours from it now. I feel like I've survived my first test, Aslan. I really do.
I feel good about it. Gator Kirk, sorry I have to ask. Did Destin Hill report today? Never mind, unicorns are not real. Yeah, that's I heard from somebody there today that apparently he's going. They don't have a firm idea, yes or no, on it, but that the fact that he's dealing with some real life stuff. So I feel like that's probably means that I can't imagine him being part of the team this season. But that's just one guy on a podcast piecing things together from what he heard today. So,
but they have not said no, he's not coming.
But we haven't asked them, though. I mean, on the record, or not the record, but I haven't been in a position to hear that kind of reply, so I don't know.
Well, just know that they are not saying for sure he is not coming. They still are holding out, even if it's a shred of 1% of hope. They are not slamming that door shut. So who knows? Maybe he'll come in with Travis Hunter next year. What a coup that would be, Aslan, getting both those guys.
By the way, Jeep Red Boy Rascal Live, hashtag Face Your Dogs, chimes in with he wants one consistent back. So, all right, right on. Josh Corby keeping running backs. Would Jaquez Patrick start on this team?
It's a good question. Jaquez was not a bad player. Different. I don't know because, I mean, he was big. He was 230 pounds. But I feel like, I don't know if that fits in this offense necessarily. Just a kind of a power back. You want guys that are around 200 that can hit a home run, and I don't know that he's that guy, but he was good. I don't know. Maybe. Dalvin would. Ask me about Dalvin. I have a better answer for that. Dalvin, and I like Trayshawn Ward, but I feel like Dalvin would start. Any of the Cook brothers would start on this team.
Jared says they just got off work, but he will watch the videos and like them. If you watch the Atkins video, I did ask him just about if they feel they've got all the tools, maybe in terms of, ask him about Trey Benson, and, they got a big back, they've got a scat back, they've got a, kind of a game-breaking guy maybe with Toafili, and like, does he feel like they have all the tools they need at their disposal to run the offense they want? He's like, listen, man, he's like something about the players are the tools. He's like, we will do whoever we have, we will make it work, and we will build the offense around them. So, so maybe Jaquez wouldn't be able to find a role, or maybe he would. But yeah, it was, he caught on to the NFL. He's when the Niners and the Bengals had a cup of coffee. So
he had that one game I remember. Well, he had multiple games, but the one where Dalvin was out with a hamstring and he got a ton of carries and ran for like 150, 160 yards, something like that. Like he had some nice moments at Florida State. Didn't necessarily live up to the 5-star status, but had a good career.
Let's go, man. Karl Malone here.
The mailman.
All right, Eric Angel with 50. Aslan Corey, the season is here. Kind of. Still 31 days.
Yeah.
32 days. Zach Crockett days away. Somebody said we're Zach Crockett days away, by the way, Corey.
There you go. That's good. That's a good one.
I'm still at work delivering. Eric's a postman, post person. Male person? Has that one been gender neutralized? I still feel we call him the mailman. Anyhow, let's not get in trouble.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Jimbo once said,
"Thank you, Eric. Thank you, buddy." And and the beauty about this, I mentioned this on headlines too, is like all the other college football beats around the country, and there are some that get to cover a much better football team than we do. But when preseason practice starts, their lives don't really change. I mean, they show up, they'll get to watch the team stretch, and then they'll get to talk to the coach maybe after practice and ask him how it went. For us, at least, and for you guys, we get to actually observe things. So that makes it a lot more exciting than it would be otherwise. You know what I mean, Aslan? You can agree with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Drip Kings TV, Warwick Dunn is the reason I'm a Nole for life. Love Greg Jones, too. That guy was a monster.
Yeah, Greg Jones was a bad dude, man. He was a bad dude.
He could play on this team. Right?
He could. He could play multiple positions on this team.
Jalen Dior, pulling the Irish Chauffeur comparison. Trayshawn Ward equals Devontae Freeman. Maybe
they run similarly in that they're angry and tough to tackle. I'm not going to put them in Devontae's category, but I also don't think that – I do think Trayshawn would have played on that 13 team. You know what I mean? I think you could have plugged him in and he'd had some –
Who's he taking snaps away from, though? James
Carlos?
Wilder?
No, I'm saying if Devontae wasn't there. If you take Devontae away and replace him with Trayshawn, I think Trayshawn plays on that team, and I still think they win the national championship.
Okay.
Like he would have fit in with that team. He does run hard.
Did Akers hit 1,000? I think he did hit 1,000 in 19. Yeah.
In 19 he did, right?
Yes.
Maybe in 17 too, but 18 he had a down year, but I think 17 he set the freshman record. So I think he went over 1,000. I think. And then 19 he definitely did. I think he had like 1,300 in 19. He was great. And he also had like an 80-yard screen pass touchdown against Florida taken away because the receiver wasn't lined up on the line of scrimmage.
I remember that one. That was cool.
Yeah, that was fun. That was probably the end of the game, really.
Yeah. I just want to put that on the screen because it's clever from Josh Corby asking how our boy from Edna Carr's doing, which is the high school that Destin Hill went to. Greedy Vance, of course, is who, because Greedy Vance went there as well. We never, notice they never gave us Greedy. They never gave us Greedy so that we could ask him that question. They never gave us to him. So they're listening, everybody. They listen. They listen. By the way, there's Cam in 17, 1024, and then 1144 in 2019. So
and remember how bad that offensive line was. Remember how bad that team was. And he was the number one guy that they were trying to stop. And he still had 1,100 yards and 14 touchdowns. And again, like I said, he had an 80-yard touchdown against Florida where he broke a bunch of tackles on a catch. And it didn't count because the receiver was lined up incorrectly.
The only thing that prevented him from getting 1,000 yards was Willie Taggart's offense.
He did get 1,000 yards.
Oh, no. I mean, that was Kendall Briles, man. That was Kendall Briles.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Gotcha. Oh, I see. Yeah, in the middle there. Yeah.
Jimbo doing his thing. Yeah. Anywho. We're climbing, everybody. We're climbing. Which, have you seen the commercials, Norvell, the Seminole Booster commercials that are running on cable here in Tallahassee, Corey? Very intense.
Are they selling season tickets?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. It's like him. It's in his office, and then it ends with like, everything's great. The only question is, like, will you be there to see it? And it shows like his hands kind of like, rubbing together like a close shot, and then it cuts to his face, like just straight on, zoomed in, tight shot, like, are you ready to climb? It's like,
all right. Did you get fired up watching it?
I did. I almost called my booster rep, but I don't have a booster rep.
Make that happen, Aslan. I would, but I'm not, I didn't go to school at Florida State.
There we go. Austin Flowers. I wonder if that's really his name, or maybe like Austin Powers, but he's just trying to be cute. Probably. That looks like him and his daughter, or a child. I shouldn't say daughter. It looks like him and a child in the avatar. Looks precious. What's more likely, Corey? FSU ends the regular season ranked, which again, by the way, we went over this the other day. You pretty much have to win 10 games to be ranked, or at least last year. Maybe it was an anomaly. What's more likely? FSU ends the regular season ranked, or Miami wins the ACC?
So if FSU ended the regular season ranked, they would have to be 9-3. We think, right? To the end of the regular season, they'd be, if they were 9-3 and beat Florida, they'd be like 21st in the country. That to me seems a little more unlikely than only because I don't believe in Clemson or NC State for that matter. I believe that Miami can win the Coastal because I believe in that quarterback. And if they win the Coastal, they at least have a shot, probably a 50-50 shot, honestly, unless Clemson is much better than I think they're going to be. Just because I think they have some huge holes they have to fill on the coaching staff, and I'm not a believer in that quarterback. So I would say Miami. I hate to do it. That's a good question. I don't think either one of them are likely, but I would say Miami is probably the more likely of the two.
Well, if they've got to be 9-3 to make it on this list, then I probably would say Miami. The thing is, I do believe in that quarterback, and I know the Josh Gaddis hire was lauded, and I think I even lauded on the show because, Michigan had once Jim Harbaugh kind of let go and let somebody else call the shots on offense, they end up in the playoff. Now they got pulverized by Georgia, but I do wonder, and he mentioned that ACC kickoff, Tyler Van Dyke, but man, that was such a video game, Gus Malzahn, Rhett Lashley. I mean, that whole tree, that offense where it's just Nick Marshall, everybody puts up big yards and big points, and it's such a quarterback-friendly offense. It's so simple. I do wonder if Mario's kind of, I want to be physical, I want to run the ball, I want to be balanced. I wonder if that is going to maybe hamper Tyler Van Dyke a little bit.
He also lost his best receiver, didn't he?
Yeah, Charleston Rambo. Yeah,
Rambo, right? He's gone.
I don't even think he got drafted, which is crazy.
Yeah, that was odd, right? That guy was pretty good.
Yeah. So
maybe they saw Duke Cooper shutting him down.
There we go. All right, rolling along. Oh, check it out. Look, it's this guy, everybody. It's this guy.
Guys, this is a very special occasion. The Godfather himself has been kind enough to grace us with his presence. The Godfather. This is his damn house. He lives there. He sleeps 20 feet away.
That he does. It's Ed Lemmix. That guy right there. Look at that guy. Look at that head of hair. Look at that head of hair. Better than both of us.
Crazy. Lucky son of a gun.
He owns thelunacoffee.com. He and his son, Brett. There's Brett right there. Solid beard, solid chin, jawline, good, solid. They roast it right there in Pensacola. These beans, they're delicious. The coffee's awesome. Paradise has now become my favorite. James B swears by it too. He's a fan of the program. So check out thelunacoffee.com. Use that promo code WARCHANT15. Got a tumbler too. The tumblers are great. Show everybody that you're a fan. You save 15% with that WARCHANT15 discount. Corey, great to have you back. Ed says, I feel your pain. I have to get a biopsy on a couple spots. Oh,
yeah. Well, good luck with that, Ed. As I hope you're wishing me luck, which I think you are. It's tough getting old, man. It's not for wimps.
All right. Maybe Benson will get 1,500 yards running and receiving combined. That'd be something, huh, Corey?
Yeah, I mean, that would mean he's probably around 1,200. I don't know the last time a running back around here had more than 300 yards receiving, and I don't even know when that was. Maybe Devontae. They throw a screen. He was pretty good out of the backfield. Really good out of the backfield, actually. But yeah, man, I really do like Trayshawn, and I think Benson has a role on this team. But I don't see him getting 25 touches a game. I just don't. I don't think that's how Norvell wants to do it with these guys. But I might be wrong. I mean, it might be very obvious in the LSU game, which is the first real test. I would assume and hope both those guys have big runs and yards per carries against Duquesne. But maybe against LSU, you see a special dude, and he slowly, not even slowly, he then becomes the lead guy, and you do feed him 25 times a game. But that would be the only way you get to 1,500 yards of total offense is to get, about 20 to 25 touches a game. And so far, that hasn't really happened with Norvell running backs at Florida State. Let's hope he's the best one, though.
Thank you, Ed. You're the man, man. We
Thank you very much, buddy, for real. And I hope, is Ed going to New Orleans? Ed's got to be in New Orleans, right?
Come on, absolutely. Come on.
All right,
man.
just making sure. We hadn't really touched base with him. We don't know where he's going to be.
Yeah, I think Corey and Jeff will be out in Pensacola with Michael Alford before the season kicks off. In Pensacola.
We'll see. We are not sure about that. Come on, buddy. Don't blow my spot.
All right. Rob Krause, ACC Media picks FSU to finish 5th in the division. Can we surprise people or play above our heads for once? Yeah, it's crazy. I forgot to put my ballot in, but look at that. Yeah, they got Louisville, Wake, NC State, and Clemson all ahead of Florida State.
Can't really argue with it, can you? I mean, they lost all 4 of those teams.
Right. And they got to go at Louisville. Louisville's got their quarterback. I just don't believe in Louisville, but yeah, I mean, I get your point. I get your point.
So yeah, and we got 2 first-place votes, which is bizarre, but I wonder who did that. Boston College got a first-place vote. People are just Vanderbilt got a first-place vote, by the way. Did you see that?
No, really?
Yeah, they got as many as A&M. But either way, yeah, wouldn't that be something? Just to finish in the top half of your Atlantic Division. Oh boy, we have fallen. We get it. Sometimes it really slaps you in the face when you say it out loud, but just try to finish in the top half of your division. That means you beat 1, if not 2, of those teams on top of you, and that'd be a very nice thing to do.
Vengeance on the mind of Tom Ortner. Man, Tom always coming for the jugular. Do we see a Louisville player getting taken out maybe viciously in the game this season?
No, but that goes back to Briggs getting his season ended on what certainly looked like a dirty block, a cheap hit that ended his season. But they'll remember it, Briggs especially.
Well, apparently Marvin too. We heard that today. That apparently they knocked Marvin out in 2020, which I don't remember that game or that play.
I guess that's how they teach them up there in Louisville. That's what Satterfield's all about. That's the Satterfield way. It's just dirty tricks. Yeah, I don't think you don't want to maybe stoop to that level, but I could understand why they would want to. So yeah, we'll see. If you're going to take one out, take the quarterback out. But do it within the rules and spirit of the game, right, Aslan?
Yes.
You don't want to pick them up and body slam them.
Yeah, Rob's on a roll. Better 2-1 start with the win over Louisville, with the win over LSU and a Louisville loss, or you beat Louisville and you lose to LSU. He says LSU helps national perception, but Louisville's direct rival in the conference pecking order. You can mess around and maybe win the Atlantic if you can beat Clemson somehow and they get upset. But if you lose to Louisville, that puts a little fly in the ointment. So, yes, I mean, the emotional response, it's like, would you rather go, 12-1 and lose to the Gators, but make it to the playoff or whatever, or go, 12-1 and beat them, but get left out or something? It's like, you got to, the main thing's got to be the main thing. And that's achieving the most success. And the most success would be winning the ACC. So I would say,
yeah, but I still think even if you win at Louisville, I don't think you have like an inside track to win the division. But beating LSU would be so big for this program and really for the conference. That David Hale was tweeting out some really embarrassing stats about ACC non-conference. I think it was yesterday, just about how awful the conference has been in September in recent years. And to go win at LSU, when you're trying to recruit kids, you're trying to recruit the big boys. If you go beat LSU in New Orleans, that does so much more for recruiting. It does so much more for national perception, which helps with recruiting, than a Friday night win over Louisville. It just does. So I'm still of the mindset that I know it would help. It'd be more important in the ACC Atlantic race, whatever that ends up being. I think you'd rather be 2-1 with the win over LSU.
All right, you changed my mind. Don't have a good answer to this question. Why are the scrimmages closed to the media? Maybe they don't quite trust us to be completely hush-hush on what's going on out there, but I'm not complaining. Whatever. Hey, man, we're able to watch every practice start to finish. We can film the first 15 minutes or so.
You know what I think it is the stats. Because I think in scrimmages, they lend themselves to actual stats. So and especially when you're having a quarterback battle, which this year you're not necessarily, but when we do our observations and we watch, I'll track every throw, and I'll even say like, yeah, Jordan was 8 of 11 and 7-on-7, but it's 7-on-7. The scrimmage situations, it's more like a game, and maybe the coach doesn't want everybody to know, okay, Jordan Travis threw 3 picks in a game situation, or a running back had 9 carries for 11 yards. I don't know. I think maybe it's the statistical analysis more than anything else. Because, I don't know what the difference would be otherwise.
Yeah. All right, let's go to our guy, Matty Cash. And I don't call him that because he does this and just drops bags of cash on our lap. But his name says Matthew Cash, $20. Thank you, Matthew. That's awesome.
It's a cool name. If that's your real name, that's a pretty sweet name.
Was Cash ever thought to be Brady's name, or maybe his middle name, Brady Cash Clark?
No. I mean, no, not at all. I can't even think about Cash Clark. That's a cool nickname, but actually calling a kid Cash, I don't know if you're setting him up for success.
I think Jessica Alba, I think she's married to a guy named Cash. So, check that.
It worked out for him. Yeah. Good grief.
All right, biggest upset you think we win this year? Clemson? I don't know. Clemson, maybe they'll be ranked high. LSU, I don't think is going to be ranked when we play them. I know it'll be an underdog, but we'll be 3.5-point underdog on a neutral field. That's not the biggest upset, but
the biggest spread of the season, probably if you were making lines right now in August or late July, would be at NC State.
Oh, I thought Miami, but yeah, maybe
I think at NC State. But even them, I think both of those, at NC State, at Miami, Clemson at home, they're all going to be around a touchdown probably if you're an underdog. They're not going to be huge numbers unless, again, Florida State starts off like they did last year and they go to NC State like 1-5, and then it might be a 20-point spread. Who knows? But, I don't know, man. All right,
well, Clemson, NC State, Miami, which one do you think is most likely?
I'm not a firm believer at NC State.
Okay.
I think Clemson, it'll be interesting how they handle that week, because if things break the way that we think they will, Florida State will go into that game for the first time really in a long time thinking they're going to win and having expectations to win, because you're at home, you played with this team even last year, and I don't know how this team right now will handle those kind of expectations to actually win a game like that. When they went to Death Valley last year, we weren't thinking they were going to win that game. And then in the fourth quarter, you're like, well, they might win this game. They're going to steal this game. It didn't work out, but you thought that. But at NC State, where they're an underdog, they played with NC State last year. They were in that game, and that was with Mackenzie Milton at quarterback. And NC State's defense wasn't incredible last year. And I think if Jordan Travis is playing in that game, they probably don't win it. I don't know if he makes that much of a difference, but it would have been closer, and it was already close in the fourth quarter. So I don't know. I'm just not a firm believer that NC State is this juggernaut. And I think they can be had. And I think that might be the best. That might be the one they pull off.
I'm not speaking on his behalf, but I know Gene has always had this boogeyman thing about playing in Raleigh, and it's kind of accurate. I mean, a lot of good things haven't happened up there for us in recent memory. I mean, the only reason we've beat them here in Raleigh of late was because they dropped the pick. Remember, when I think Francois threw just an absolute tailor-made pick for NC State to seize momentum and take a lead, and they dropped it, and we held on and won that game. So, Clemson could have been a blip last year, man. If the quarterback's going to get figured out, it's either that DJ kid or he's Kelly Bryant and Clay Klubnik is Trevor Lawrence, and he'll take over midway through the season. There's going to be no looking back.
Yeah, but where are they on the receiving core? Where are they in the receiving front? They keep losing skill guys, and they keep losing defensive linemen. Now I know they're loaded on defense again last year, but they don't have again this year, but they don't have Venables. So I just feel like the whole program, and maybe it's wishful thinking. I granted it could definitely be that. I just think the whole program is taking a step back. There was a little bit of a chink in the armor. There was some vulnerability last year that we hadn't seen around here in half a decade. And I think all these teams realize, okay, we can play with Clemson, and that's half the battle, man. You don't show up beaten. But again, you're right. Maybe they start beating everybody 45-6 again, and nobody's having any fun.
I mean, it's the ACC, but that's a tough slate right there. That's tough. Louisville Friday night. I know you have an extra day off, and they got to play BC. They'll be chippy. You got Wake. Then you got to go at NC State and then Clemson. That's, NC State, Clemson to beat one of those guys. That would be crazy. I mean, it'd be crazy to beat NC State, then come home and lose to Clemson, and maybe be just as crazy to, lose NC State and then come home and beat Clemson. But I guess I'll go Clemson at home. That's the biggest up, I think. But right. I think the spread is going to be bigger in Raleigh, though. To your point, Corey, I think the spread would probably be bigger in NC State. And something you were mentioning, Corey, about if they were to be able to upset NC State, they probably go into that Clemson game expecting they're going to win. When's the last time you could say that? Literally, when is the last time you could say Florida State thought they were going to go beat Clemson? They had
2014, and even then you didn't have your starting quarterback.
Yeah, Jameis. I still thought we'd win, but I was nervous as all get out. But yeah, since then, 15 didn't expect to win, 16 didn't expect to win. Obviously, 17 no, 18 no.
13, I mean, I don't know how confident Florida State fans were that they were going to go up there and win that game. Certainly not the way they did. Looking back in hindsight, it's like, oh, yeah, but nobody was really confident heading into that week. Why would you have been? You hadn't won there in so long. And then, 2012, that was a good Clemson team too. And you were a team that hadn't proven anything yet. Man, I don't know. 08? Has it been 14 years since they played a Clemson team that they thought they were going to win? That probably 2008.
All right, Kyle asked, guys, if you could steal one player from an FSU opponent this upcoming season to play on our roster, who is it and why? Keyshawn Butte, if he was healthy. That'd be awesome.
But he isn't, though.
I'm trying to think when the Clemson defensive ends. We got
that wouldn't be bad. Yeah, one of those defensive linemen from Clemson. I was trying to think of the quarterback, but in my mind, I'm doing this scenario of Devin Leary, is he going to learn a whole new offense in 3 weeks? I think you could take it, and I'm literally if there was a trade tomorrow and Florida State was allowed to trade for one player, I don't know that you trade for a Sam Hartman or a Devin Leary, although I think they're better than Jordan Travis just because it's harder to learn it. I mean, they've never been in this system. But you can go trade for a defensive end from Clemson, and then all of a sudden, you're really good at defensive end. It's not like you got to teach them much. Yeah, you see the guy with the ball, the thing you've been doing your whole life, go chase the guy with the ball and tackle him to the ground hard. I would say probably one of those defensive linemen from Clemson.
This is KJ Henry, who is at kickoff on their behalf, but that's, a 66. That's just barely above the baseline. His pass rush is 69, so that's not even that much higher. So Yeah, man, Dabo's like, man, we got 4 guys here playing defensive end that could start at any other program in the country. So I don't know. Maybe I would still a quarterback just to hamstring NC State, right? If they don't have Devin,
there you
Leary,
go. Yeah, take Devin Leary away from him. Yeah,
just to hoard him, Like we're fantasy football and we don't need that guy, but the guy we're playing might pick him off the waiver wire, so we're just going to hoard a guy. So we would hoard Devin Leary. It's all about strategy. All right, let's see here. What else do we have? Carol Palalis. Shout out, by the way, we got Josiah. We got intern Josiah back here helping field some of the questions and screen them, so we appreciate it. Who do you think will be the most improved player from spring to fall? Good question, Carol.
What do you think, Aslan?
Yeah, I like what Adam Fuller had to say about Derek McClendon. Kind of like what he had to say about him being, physically growing, being strong enough now. I mean, listen, Michael Langston and I, check it out. We went and interviewed, McClendon when he was still in high school and it was committed to Florida State. We interviewed him in their high school weight room. Look at the video. That weight room is pretty pedestrian and rudimentary. There's not a lot of machines and a lot of stuff in there. So this is now 4 years maybe for him of being in a legit training program and 3 with Norvell and Storms. So maybe he could be the guy that kind of takes a step up from spring to fall. I'm trying to think who I want to see more from that I'm hoping to see more from in fall that I didn't get out of spring. So maybe McClendon falls in that category for me, Corey.
Maybe Malik McLean for me.
Good. Yeah.
And it wasn't like he was bad in the spring, right, Aslan? It's not like he kept dropping a bunch of passes or was noticeably bad. It's just he wasn't really noticeable at all for long stretches. And he's the guy that started a lot last year, and that Norvell kind of talked about, or not kind of, he talked about along with Pokey today that he wants to see him take a step, and he thinks he will. So yeah, I think Malik McLean is the guy that I would see, because maybe when you're young and you just started as a freshman, maybe you're not all that invested in the spring. Games are still 6 months away. You've already proven you have a spot. They really like you, even though they brought in these other guys. But maybe now that the games are actually within a month, maybe he raises his level, or has raised his level in the offseason, and becomes a better receiver. And also somebody that was brought up multiple times by Fuller and Norvell was DJ Lundy, and that he had lost weight. We always worry about guys gaining weight, but Fuller didn't even know Norvell had talked about him, because Norvell talked before the other coach in the room. He's like, "Have you guys seen DJ Lundy yet?" And we're like, "No." And he goes, "You wouldn't believe how different he looks. Like his body shape, like he's only lost about 12 pounds, but he's redefined his body." And he's like, he's always, what do you say? He was always pretty quick, but now he's fast. Like he's gained speed.
Long line speed, longer distances, so he can chase stuff down.
Yeah. So that to me, maybe he's a guy.
Yeah, he did say wait. I think both Fuller and Norvell said wait till you see him tomorrow on Wednesday. So we'll, Gene's going to be out there, long lens.
Yeah.
So we'll get maybe some greased up, oiled up DJ Lane. Maybe we'll get him after practice, pads off, shirtless.
Ooh, now you're talking.
If you're not,
maybe I'll interview him shirtless.
Yeah. Shout out to our guy Matthew Cash. If you wondered if it's just a pseudonym, it's not.
Old M Dog, MC Dog, M Cash. That's a good name, man. It's a much better, like I said, I think it's a much better last name than a first name. That first name puts a lot of pressure on you. Because what if you're just, Cash Clark, but you're a C student, and your significant other's not attractive, and you don't make any money. Like you're like, oh, Cash, huh? Straight cash, huh, homie? Like you got all that going for you. But Cash as a last name is cool.
Oh,
thank you very much, Matthew. You didn't have to do that, but thank you, buddy.
Straight cash, homie.
I've been following the show for a long time. Matthew Cash is my real name. You guys are the real deal, he says. So, all right.
Tell your friends. Tell your friends.
Are we a trap game? Is that what we've become? Who knows, Kyle? We'll see as the season unfolds. Practice goes on tomorrow, 4 o'clock or so, Corey?
Yep.
It starts?
4 to 6. We'll have observations afterwards on the site. I assume Ira and I will do, or maybe Jeff, Ira and I will do a wrap-up video from the first day of practice that you guys can watch on this sweet, sweet site that we have here, this channel we have. But yeah, we'll be writing and observing as practice starts tomorrow. I can't believe it, Aslan. I can't believe it.
Real quick, Till Dog asked, will we see more balls thrown Ja'Kai Douglas's way?
Yeah, ask me again. Literally, I'm not being smart here. Ask me again in like 2 or 3 weeks. I do think you will. I think he's going to be a guy they probably play in the slot a lot. I would like to see how camp progresses, because I thought he wasn't nearly as noticeable last year once the pads actually, or in the spring, once the pads actually came on. He was the star of the camp for the first week or so. Not so much the last 3 weeks. I want to see what he looks like when camp really opens up with full pads.
Thank you to Matthew Cash, Ed Lemmix, Eric Angel, Thomas Giddings, Shane Kirkley, Big Dog, Mark Adamczyk, Joel Davis for all of their contributions to the show, the financial ones and the tip jar. It's incredible, man. Again, we're just in our houses talking about your favorite team, our favorite team, and everyone seems to enjoy it. So we certainly do appreciate it. Also, thanks to Josiah, in the background, helping things out, punching the show up. We'll be back shows the rest of the week and pretty much until the national title game, until that little bit lull between.
It'll be like before the first playoff game.
Yeah,
there'll be like a 3-week lull before then. But even then, we'll probably just take that first week off, and then we'll be right back at it for those 2 weeks before the playoffs.
Yeah. Stay connected, warchant.com. Download that app. Hit the thumbs up on the way out, guys. We really would appreciate it. For Corey, I'm Aslan. Thanks for watching, everybody.